Hey guys, Teresa here. Welcome back to my channel, Lost My Thread. I am here today with the conclusion of my current Clash of the Pattern series, the Smart Summer Shorts Smackdown. I know that a lot of you have been very anxiously awaiting this video, and I really did want to put this out as soon as I could, but at the same time, I really wanted an opportunity to actually wear all of these shorts so I can tell you what they're actually like to wear on the day-to-day and feel like it's a little bit more indicative of how likely I am to wear them again in the future. This is obviously not the first video in this series, so if you have not watched the previous, I'll put a link up here to the first video in this series and then down below to the whole Clash of the Pattern series in case you want to look through different garments that I've compared in the past as well. For those of you who just want a bit of a refresher, in the first video I did talk about the 3 shorts patterns that I've chosen and why, talked about the design details, the fabric that I'm using. I then, in the second video, was talking about the fit of these shorts, so I made some muslins, talked about what adjustments I needed to make, how the fit was looking initially. In the third video I was talking about the instructions, the construction method, what these shorts look like on the hanger. And today is really all about how these shorts are functionally, design-wise, how they are on my body, and I will be crowning the winner of this Clash of the Pattern series at the end. I do also want to just mention to bear in mind with all these photos, these shorts were all made in the same fabric but in a different colorway. They're all the Fabric Godmother Riviera Viscose Linen Blend, and many of you will know both linen and viscose are very prone to crease on your fabric, and so as I was driving and sitting and then standing up, you do see those creases in the shorts. But at the end of the day, that is the reality of what these shorts are going to look like with the fabric that I've chosen. In the video footage, I've given them a press and I haven't sat down in them, so it also gives you a bit of a different view of what these shorts look like. But if you're seeing creases, it's not necessarily a fit issue. It's more likely just because I was sitting in the car in these shorts. Right, so let's get to it. I want to first talk about what these shorts look like from the front. So I've got some full view and I've got some close-up view so you can see what I'm talking about. I feel like when the top is down and it's a slightly loose, slightly long top, I really quite like the look of both the Dorian and the Pietra shorts. The Dorian shorts, the pockets are a bit higher and there's that kind of slightly steeper angle, and I feel like they're unfortunately a little bit lost on this particular combo. I feel like the top is covering them a little bit, so I feel like the Pietra pockets look a little bit cuter from the front. The Palisades in general, I feel like they just have a bit of a sloppiness. They look quite loose and I feel like they're not really working with the style of the top. I feel like they're kind of in contrast, that they're a bit too casual and relaxed. And I feel like the pockets are just adding a bit more bulk at the front. I went for a drapier fabric because I was hoping to not have too much bulk with those gathers, but I feel like that just means that the pockets are just a little more floppy. Even though there's interfacing on those pockets, I feel like they're just kind of sitting there and adding a bit more in the hip area. The gathers as well, I definitely notice a bit more significantly. On the Dorians, the gathering is just at the sides, and I feel like with a longer top, you honestly can't see it. But with the Palisades, I would say in general, there's a lot larger waistband that you're gathering up, and so all those gathers are a bit more pronounced. Now I did also pull the top up a bit just so I could show the general look of the shorts if I was wearing something a bit shorter, so you can see what the actual design is and it's not hidden away. The Dorians, I prefer the look of the pockets with the Dorians when I have the top pulled up, but I am just really not loving the look of those gathers right over my hips. I feel like it's just not a good place for me to have gathers. I definitely think the front fly looks really good. I know it was a lot of work to get to that point, but I feel like it kind of flattens the area over the tummy and the crotch area. I feel like it's a pretty good fit overall. They're definitely, I would say, a more kind of fitted, more narrow shorts than the other two, but I feel like in general, apart from that gathering at the waist that I don't love, I think these look pretty sleek, pretty smart, and definitely very wearable. From the front, the Pietras with the top pulled up look so good. I feel like I like them even better when I can see the full detail because there is that pocket stay that goes across the front and kind of flattens the top of your tummy. I feel like the whole thing just like falls really beautifully. In general, I feel like it's really well fitted at the front. It's probably the best fitted from the look at the front. You can't tell all the elastic that's going on at the back when you're just looking at the front view. And I feel like these definitely look really smart. They look really professional. They look really great. The Palisades, when I really get into the front view, honestly, I just don't love it. I have this faux fly at the front, which when you pull the top up is even more obvious that it's a faux fly because there's not a button extending above. That is not an overlapping seam on the waistband. So clearly it's a faux fly. I just feel like the faux fly is not adding anything visually. I feel like it is making it look more ill-fitted. It's a bit of a looser short in general, like the whole shorts are a bit looser, and so the fly seems kind of superfluous, which it is. You don't need to have the fly there, and I feel like in future I would just really not bother even with the faux fly. I feel like having that a bit more of a straight front would just make more sense. But of course, when the top is pulled up, you can also really see the emphasis of the gathering in the hip area, which is not my favorite place to have a bit of gathering. And I just feel like I just don't love it when it's pulled up. I feel like it looks a lot more sloppy. And generally, I feel like the flat front, then suddenly that elastic coming in looks even more peculiar on these than it does on the Dorians. So looking from the side, I feel like all of these honestly look really pretty good with the top down, that slightly longer top that's covering the waistband. I really love the look of the Palisades from the side. That's absolutely my favorite view of these shorts, and it really emphasizes those pockets, which was something that I was really excited to try out. The pockets are clearly incredibly fun. You know, that overlap, having basically a double pocket on each side. It's really cool, it's really unique. But one thing I will say is these shorts are definitely sitting slightly longer at the back, and so you can see the angle of the pocket is kind of tipping back a little bit. So I think I'd probably decrease the back rise by an inch in the future just to kind of straighten that out a bit. But the main thing I would say about these shorts, even with those super cool pockets, I feel like they just look a lot more like a relaxed fit, fully elasticated waist shorts. And part of me feels like maybe they just should be that, and then it wouldn't look as strange all around. I feel like the bagginess of the short, or kind of the ease within in the body and in the leg, and the side view where you can just see the elastic part, it looks nice, but it doesn't look like the kind of smart short look that I was going for. The Dorians, you can see, are definitely a narrower short. There's not quite so much room going down them, but I feel like they look really professional, they look really smart, and I feel like they're definitely ones that I would happily wear to work. The Pietras from the side, there's something I just really love about the proportion of these shorts. You can tell there's elastic at the back and that it's flatter at the front, and that seems very intentional. It seems like it's meant to be part of the design, and I feel like they look like they fit really well. Like I said, so something about the proportions of the seam lines and the length of it, I feel like just look really cute with that longer top. So pulling these up from the side just so you can get a full view of what these shorts look like. The Palisades I feel like look really odd and sloppy and loose, particularly over the bum area. I feel like there's something going on there where there's just too much fabric. It's not falling in the right places. Definitely shortening the back rise would help a little bit, but I just don't know if even sizing down a size. There's something strange with the proportions there. The legs are definitely not as loose, and I would say this is definitely the worst kind of bubble butt that I worried about, worst case scenario. Things just look baggy where you do not want them to be looking baggy. I also feel like with the top higher up, the Pietras, they almost look even cuter. I didn't really expect to like the look of that half elastic, half flat when it's really visible, but it clearly is an intentional part of the design, and it looks really cool and looks really fun, and it's definitely very comfortable to wear. Now, I did mention before that the waistband, it does pull a little bit to the back, and that was also the case on my muslin, and I thought that was because my elastic was maybe a bit short, so I did lengthen the elastic so it's more comfortable, but it's still slightly pulling to the back. I feel like the front waistband probably could just be a little bit shorter, and that would alleviate that, but it doesn't bother me. It's definitely not an issue. And I think these look super cute with a shorter top and being a little bit pulled up to show those design elements. The Dorians actually look really good from the side. I wasn't sure how all that gathering was gonna look, but when you're straight on from a side view, there's not a ton of gathering. The elastic is there, but it's not stretching loads. You're not gathering loads of fabric into it. And so I feel like in general, you can see the pocket better. You don't particularly see the gathering at the waist. And I feel like that's the nicest kind of overall look across from the front to the back. And it looks really balanced. Turning around to the back view then, if I'm honest with you, I don't think any of these are doing a whole lot for my bum. I feel like I've made a lot of other pants and shorts that I feel like are a better shape for my body, that are a more flattering shape from the back, but hey, they are what they are, and I'm gonna be comparing the differences between them. There's something that isn't quite hitting the marks for me with the look of the Dorians from the back. So this one has a flat back waistband, particularly the center of the back waistband is flat. And I think I was expecting things to fit better around the back crotch curve over my bum, and I just feel like it's looking a bit odd. Now, there are some folds that are there, like there's like a crease on the bum that I think that's more related to sitting in the car. I don't think that's from the overall look. You'll see when you see the videos, I don't think that's really the issue, but I think it is a bit tight in the lower back upper bum area, and I don't love the shape on my body. From the back, the Pietras really just look like an elasticated waist short, which is definitely fine, and I wear plenty of elasticated waist shorts and pants. I will say in general, I think this is fine in a drapier fabric, but you can definitely see a lot of the gathering there, and I feel like I would be very reluctant to have these shorts in a more structured fabric. I would not want those gathers to be any more pronounced than they are. I feel like they're like kind of on the edge, and I think they're acceptable in this fabric, and I can just accept that they look like an elasticated waist short, but I would not want any more bulk in that lower back upper butt area. The Palisades from the back, there's a similarity, but I feel like they definitely look less good. There is a narrower leg clearly, and I feel like it does just look quite strange. I have a bit of fabric just kind of pooling around in my bum area. There are less gathers in the waistband because it's distributed differently, and I can definitely appreciate that, but I feel like from the back, I'm honestly not really noticing that difference. Now, I did a 4-inch inseam for all three of these shorts. That was actually what was the original design for the Pietras, but I had to lengthen the Dorians and the Palisades to get that length. I generally like that kind of length inseam, but I feel like it's hanging less well on this one because things are not as fitted around the bum, and so it looks longer and it looks a bit weird. One of the key design details for all of these shorts were the pockets. They all had some interesting pockets. They were all really fun to put together. But as far as how they look on the shorts and how functional they are, it definitely varies. The pockets on the Dorians generally look really cute, but I have to say I really only notice that and appreciate that when the top is pulled up, so something a little bit shorter. I like the angle of them, but I feel like they just sit quite high on the body. I did shorten the rise on these shorts, but above the pocket, so I didn't change where that pocket is sitting. That is part of the original design, and I feel like I would probably prefer that to be a little bit lower just so I can appreciate it. The other thing I would say is it's quite a narrow pocket, so the space from the kind of front to the back of the pocket isn't huge. I can get my hand in and I can like put things in and out, my phone in and out, but I would say it feels relatively tight, and I think some of that has to do with just the shape of the leg. It's not my favorite pocket to use, but it functions. The Palisade pockets are kind of insane. They are enormous. They are hilariously huge. What I would say is that because they're so huge, so from the front to the back is a lot of space, they're also a looser fit in the leg. Things move around. So when I put things in the pockets, they shift, which is kind of annoying. I also, because I've got kind of like a double pocket on each side, I can go either side of those pocket flaps. I have put something in a pocket and then struggled to find it because it was in the other side of the pocket, which I honestly found pretty funny, but I could see it getting annoying potentially if you were wearing these all the time. I will say I think they're the best to look at out of the three. I think they look fabulous, but they're not necessarily super functional. The other thing I would say with these pockets is they are quite awkward to wash and to then dry. So generally speaking with my Me Maids, I tend to wash them in a delicate cycle and then I hang them to dry. These ones I hung like I normally would do on a hanger. just as you see here, but actually that means these pockets are really flopping down, and particularly with a drapier fabric, you want everything to sit flat while it's drying in order for it to stay nice and neat. So I found that if I actually rotated this so that this was at one end of the hanger and the back of the short was at the other end of the hanger, the pockets were able to sit flatter there. And I will say, because you've got a lot of bulk in the pocket, they took a little bit longer to dry. I did still feel like I needed to press them. And these pockets on the inside, they are round on the inside. The other two are completely straight. And I feel like they're almost like, they feel more integrated into the side seam on the other ones when they're more straight on the inside. Having this curve, having multiple layers of pockets, it was quite an awkward thing to try and press. So I feel like in general, it's less practical and more annoying to deal with when you're actually going to be washing them over time. The Pietras, I feel like I'm getting into a bit of like a Goldilocks situation where the Dorian pockets were too small, the Palisade pockets were too big, and the Pietras were just right. And I have to say, these are delightful pockets. I think they look really cute from the side for sure. Even from the front, I think they look really good. There is a really good size for these pockets, so the front to back is really nice and roomy. Again, this is a slightly looser leg than the Dorian, so I think that's probably why you're having that extra space there. They're a good spot, so I feel like you can see them. They're right in the right location, very practical. I would say these are probably my favorite pockets to just stick my hands into, and I can keep them there and they're comfortable, and I don't know, they're just kind of a perfect pocket. Looking at the comfort level of these shorts, right off the bat, I do feel like I have to say these are honestly all very comfortable shorts. I intend to wear all of these. They're kind of all winners, even though there's going to be one winner at the end. But I feel like having the elastic and some like flatness on there makes them both stylish and comfortable, which is what I was hoping for with these shorts. And all of these shorts, when I wore them, I was comfortable. When I came home, I didn't feel desperate to take them off. So from that point of view, I can't really complain about any of them. The Pietras are definitely a bit tighter across the waist, but I find them really comfortable, particularly where I have them sitting on my natural waist. I mentioned before there is this, it's called a pocket stay, but basically there's like a front facing that's interface that goes on to the inside at the front of the shorts. And I feel like that does add things a little bit more kind of structured, and it makes everything look quite flat and sleek. And honestly, I didn't find it uncomfortable, which is what I had worried. I feel like these are really comfortable to, you know, sit, squat, bend, move around in absolutely fine. But I will say getting these on over my hips, they go up absolutely fine for me, but it's not like there's a ton of extra room. So I definitely think, as they recommend, if you are more than 2 size difference between your waist or your hip, even 2 size differences between your waist and hip on this pattern, I think you would definitely be best to include the invisible zip on the side, which they have a tutorial for. For me, it's no problem. I actually had the same size at the waist and hip, so I was lucky in that way. But I feel like they go on and off easily, they stay put, and they are actually really comfortable. The Palisades feel like the loosest pair of shorts, which is what they are. And I feel like they don't really need to be that loose. I would be tempted to size down on these and see if I'm generally just happier with the fit and the proportions overall. But I will say that particularly the section that goes around the back to the front with the elastic, I don't think it needs to be so much fabric. I feel like that could be reduced so that there's less gathering overall, because there is tons of space to stretch this out. If it's at full width and full stretch, it is a lot bigger than my hip. So if you are somebody who has a big difference, you know, 2 sizes or more between your waist and hip, this may be a better design for you, but obviously you can adjust either of these shorts to be a better fit for you. But I feel like I would prefer all this waistband to be smaller so there's less gathering, so it would be a better shape. Totally comfortable though. Like I said, it feels like you're wearing loose elastic waist shorts basically. The Dorians, I should say as well, I was able to get these on and off without having to undo the button and the zipper fly. That's a bonus in my books, because doing a fly up and down is just an extra thing. It's an extra faff. But I will say that does also make me feel like if I were going to make these in the future, I would go with a faux fly. I didn't love the fly construction. I had a bit of a tricky time with it. And I feel like if it was a faux fly, it would look good because I like the look of it. I would put a button on the top of the fly as well, but it doesn't need to be functional for me. Again, if you are someone who had a bigger differential, maybe a 2 size difference between waist and hip, you probably do need that zipper fly. But if not, I think you could totally get away with this with a faux fly. And now we get to the bit of the Me Made fashion show portion of this video. So what I want to show you is how these pair with different Me Made tops that are in my wardrobe to give you an idea of how wearable and versatile these shorts are. Starting with the Dorians, I feel like these ones do have probably an overall like a dressier look than the other two, just in general, looking from all angles. I feel like these don't particularly make a lot of sense with tighter, longer tops. Because of the shape, you have a little bit of extra, bulk around the waistband, and it's a higher waistband. I feel like that generally suits a higher top or a higher cropped top. So like my Glenelly top by Itch to Stitch, I feel like things are just kind of sitting too tightly and you can see that top waistband. Things just look a bit odd. Similarly, the Blama tank by Paradise Patterns, I feel like this top generally goes better with like a lower rise short. Though of course I could shorten the tank top, but as it is, I feel like these two don't really work together. And because, like I said before, I don't love the look of this waistband when it's exposed, I don't want it with anything that's too cropped. I kind of really want things just in the middle. When things are too cropped, you can see the waistband and I just don't love the way it looks. So I tried tucking in the Adrian blouse by Friday Pattern Company. I usually tuck this top in and I feel like it's just not, it's not doing it for me. Similarly, the cropped Norma blouse by Fiber Mood. So I've got a couple of Norma blouses. This one's a little bit shorter and I feel like being shorter, seeing so much of the waistband, it's just, no, it's not for me. The Super Basic tank by Half Moon Atelier, I feel like I really like these tank tops and I like the length of them with so many things, but definitely not with these shorts. My least favorite overall was actually the Peppermint Wrap top by In the Folds, designed for Peppermint Magazine, which I'm wearing today. I feel like this was just drawing too much attention to the bits that I don't like about these shorts. You can see the waistband with the elastic at the hip, and I particularly from the front don't love it, but I feel like in general, it just doesn't look like it makes sense. So like I said, I feel like in general, these shorts really suit a slightly looser, slightly longer top the best. I have a couple of versions of the La Brea tee by Half Moon Atelier in woven fabric. I actually have loads of them because it's one of my favorite patterns, but I feel like there's a couple that work quite well, but I particularly like the one that's like a color block. This was made with fabric scraps and I feel like that looks super cute. I also do like the Norma blouse by Fiber Mood that's a little bit longer. So again, it's just kind of thinking about the length of the tops and what's going to hide the elastic, if I'm completely honest with you. I also quite liked it with the Core tee by Closet Core Patterns. I wasn't sure if I would like this combo. The colors are definitely fun together, so I'm sure that's adding something, but I feel like there's something pretty cute about this combo. The Anthea blouse by Anna Allen is definitely a winner in my books with these shorts. I feel like it looks really cute. The colors are working well together, the designs are working well together, the proportions look great. I also really love the Ashen top by Helen's Closet with these shorts. So I think, again, the fabrics are working well together, but I feel like it's a really cute summer look. I thought this also looked good with a slightly less fitted tee, the Basic Instinct tee by Segundo Second Piano. I feel like these two work well together. And also the Gilbert top by Helen's Closet. I feel like this is a fun pairing. I have multiple versions of both of those tops and I feel like I could wear these shorts with quite a few different ones. My absolute favorite shirt to pair with these shorts is the Olya shirt by Paper Theory. I feel like this overall, there's something like a casual Friday vibe about this, particularly with the rolled up sleeve. I feel like this is such a cute summer look. This is a really lightweight cotton fabric, so it's great to wear in the summer. And I feel like these two, I could definitely see wearing this shirt unbuttoned with like a top underneath as well. But on its own, the two together, I feel like they're such a winner. And it definitely, to me, takes me to my inspo, my Pinterest inspiration board of the kind of looks that I would like to have in my wardrobe. I really do love this combo. Moving on to the Palisades. These, like I said, are definitely the kind of most loose and baggy, and I feel like in general look the least dressy. They look the most casual. And so I feel like sometimes both the shape but also the style of them weren't always working with things that I was hoping might work with them. I know they're a bold color, so I'm more thinking about the design and style elements, but in all honesty, I have a lot of tops that theoretically would go with these bright orange shorts. I feel like the Adrian blouse tucked in, this is just not doing anything for me. I feel like there's a bit of a clash both with the style, but definitely also with the fit and being able to see all the gathering at the waist. I'm just not loving. I feel like similarly, the Blama tank by Paradise Patterns, very much like the Dorians, it drapes over there and you can see all the bulk that shouldn't be there. It just looks a bit peculiar. The Super Basic tank by Half Moon Atelier, again, Getting to see the exposed waistband is just not working for me. And the Basic Instinct tee by Segundo Second Piano, this is a slightly more cropped version of this top, and I think that's not doing it any favors, because once you can see that waistband, I don't love it. And I was a little surprised, the Freya top by Tilly and the Buttons. I thought this was not going to work because it was very similar with being a slightly longer top, slightly tighter top, but I think there's a little bit more ease there in the hip, and I feel like it's fitting better and looking better around the waistband area and the gathering. The Olia shirt by Paper Theory, I felt like stylistically, I think it worked okay. The colors obviously are not probably the best colors to put together, but I feel like there's just something too casual, and maybe these are kind of contrasting with being a slightly dressier looking shirt. It's not really that dressy of a shirt, but I feel like when they're next to each other, it ends up looking that way. In all honesty, there were a lot that I just really did not like with these shorts. The Peppermint Wrap top by In the Folds, designed for Peppermint Magazine. Again, seeing that waistband, not loving it. The Gilbert top by Helen's Closet. I feel like that top, again, it's not necessarily a dressy shirt, but this feels like it's dressing it down, and I think that's more to do with the style than the fit. They're just too relaxed to go with anything that's ever so slightly smart on top. I think my least favorite was the slightly longer Norma blouse by Fiber Mood, and I feel like this is because there is the extra bulk in the hip area, and that is basically right where this shirt is hitting, and so I feel like this one makes me look bigger than I am. It's definitely not a great silhouette for me. I did actually really like this with the Core tee by Closet Core Patterns. It definitely feels casual. It feels like a fun summery vibe. The colors are definitely vibrant and fun together, but I feel like more importantly, the style, it just works with where things are fitted and where things are falling together. And I've made a blouse from the Maya Sotis dress by Deer and Doe, and I don't quite know what it is, but I feel like I really like these two together. So I try and figure out what it is that are going on with the designs, what I do and don't like paired with these shorts. And I feel like this is more like a lot of the other things that I didn't love, that it's slightly dressier, so maybe it should contrast and not work. But maybe because it's just a very simple design and where it's sitting is kind of just in the right place, that I actually quite like these together. And my favorite top to wear with these shorts is the knit version of the La Brea tee by Half Moon Atelier. I feel like the proportions of these two work really well together. The top is obviously a bit on the looser side, particularly around the waist area, and so that way you're not able to see all the elastic that's going on there, the gathering that's going on there. Basically is covering up those sins. I will say I like that hemband at the bottom of the top as well. There's a cool casualness to it, and I feel like it works really well with these shorts. I feel like the main thing for me with these shorts is they're just more of a kind of casual, cool shorts if you're gonna wear something that's a bit looser and a bit longer over the top. And the Pietras are definitely, I think, the most versatile of all of these shorts, because I feel like I like the flat front and the elastic back, and it looks like an intentional part of the design, an interesting design detail. I'm happy to expose the waistband, I'm happy to cover that waistband, and I feel like it honestly works with most things. So things that are looser, tighter, longer, shorter, I feel like it's just kind of a great catch-all. After I made these videos, in order for me to kind of work out my thoughts on what I liked and didn't like with the different shorts, I categorized them into like didn't like, liked, and loved. And there was only one top that I really didn't like with the Pietras, and that was the knit version of the La Brea tee by Half Moon Atelier. I feel like there's just something about the styles that don't work together. I think the shorts look maybe a little bit too dressy for the top. I feel like the hemband on the top isn't making sense maybe with the flat front of the shorts. I don't quite know. They're just a little bit in contrast, particularly from the front, and I don't love wearing them together. And I also only had one that I felt like was okay. I liked it, I didn't love it, and that was the Olia shirt by Paper Theory. So again, I know probably some of it is to do with the fabrics together. I feel like the style is probably absolutely fine, but I only have one version of this shirt. I feel like if I had more of like a floral pattern on the top, I think that could work a lot better. So that's something I definitely want to think about doing, maybe in like a drapier fabric. I feel like that would work, but as is, I don't love these two together. But I had so many tops I really loved with these shorts. I really liked having the Anthea blouse tucked in. I feel like that looked super cute together. Definitely the colors together I am such a big fan of. I feel like there's almost like a sherbety flavor coming from this. It looks really nice and juicy. Definitely like these two together. I also really liked it with my color blocked La Brea tee by Half Moon Atelier. So this is a slightly longer version of this top. I feel like it looks really cool together. I also like this with a slightly more cropped version of the La Brea tee. I've made this top a lot. I've made it with all different fabrics. I think the slightly more cropped version looks really cute. And I also have a very cropped version of the La Brea tee that I made from an old dress. And I actually, yeah, this one is so cute, super cute. I wasn't quite sure if it would be a little bit funny where these hit together, but it's one of my favorite looks. I also really like this with the Gilbert top by Helen's Closet. Very similar colors. I'm obviously into certain colors. I think this combo together looks really good, but there's definitely like a kind of maybe like a beachy vacation vibe about these two together. And the Maya Sotis blouse hack of the dress from Deer and Doe, I feel like this is another one that I think looks really nice together. There's a kind of a cool smartness, slightly casual look to these that I love. And also that Blama tank by Paradise Patterns. This is the one that works. In my mind, I generally like to wear more crop tops with higher waisted shorts and vice versa. But because the front of these shorts look so sleek and everything just kind of sits nice and flat, it still works with a longer tank top. And so it's nice to have something that I can pair together with this top. I also have a short sleeve Norma blouse by Fiber Mood that's a bit more cropped. And I think these are a super cute combo together. There is a bit of the shorts color in the flowers of this Liberty print, and I feel like that's really highlighting it in a really cool way. And I feel like these are just a super cute combo. I've also made the super basic tank by Half Moon Atelier using the scraps from my Adrian blouse. So it's literally the same fabric. Clearly I like these two together, and I think it looks adorable as a combo with a tank top. And my favorite top to pair with these shorts is what I'm wearing today. My peppermint wrap top designed by In the Folds for Peppermint magazine. I feel like there's just something about this combo and I can't quite put my finger on it. There's a simplicity of this top. Obviously it's a wrap and it's got this bow on the side, but it's quite straight lines. And I feel like that allows the additional design details of the shorts to really sing. Because it's cropped, you're gonna see all those details there all the way up to the top of the waistband. Both of these two are quite nice and fitted at the waistband, so I feel like in general they are doing a lot for my figure. I feel like they're a good shape for me. I think being able to see those gathers underneath that little tie on the side, it's just really cute. Now I will say I'm not 100% sure about the color combo here. I feel like this blue top probably would want to be a little bit warmer to work well with these shorts, but I kind of also like them. I'm undecided. 100% like the combo of these two together though, so no problem. I just need to make more of this top, which is a big favorite of mine, so no worries. I'll have more options coming in the future. So looking back over the series, where all these patterns have been, the Dorians have been sitting at the bottom for the whole time, and I feel like there just hasn't been anything to really bump them up. I feel like the instructions definitely had some issues. I had the most fit adjustments to make with these, and I'm still not 100% in love with the fit of these shorts. I feel like the design as well, having the gathering at the waistband on the sides, it's almost kind of like halfway to nowhere. When we've got the zipper front fly, you potentially have the opportunity to not have any elastic and just have it flat around the waistband. I like the option of the elastic because again, I can take these on and off without having to do the fly, and I can also just find them a bit more comfortable when I'm sitting and squatting and moving around. But it just kind of feels like the elastic shouldn't be there or the fly doesn't need to be there. I would do a faux fly because again, I didn't love the way they constructed the fly on these ones. And I just feel like in general, they're not the perfect shorts for me with a lot of combos, so just a little bit more restricted at how I'm gonna wear them in my wardrobe. The Pietras have had a lot going for them throughout, so they've been sitting in first or second place. I feel like these overall have my favorite construction process, the best instructions, definitely the easiest if you need to make pattern adjustments. They're super simple, easily the quickest ones to make. Definitely, I would say the most beginner friendly. I think these are a really good option for a first pair of shorts or pants. They definitely give you as much information as you need, and with the fit with the elastic, you have a bit more flexibility in there as well. I also just feel like the combination of the flat front and the elastic back, I feel like it just works the best out of the combination on these. It looks like it's meant to be that way, and it feels really comfortable to wear. They are super versatile. I feel like I have so many opportunities to wear these in the summer months. And these are definitely one that I want to try making again. So this pattern comes with multiple views. You can make it with a wide leg, you can make it with a tapered leg, both of these like a long sleeve trouser or pant. And that is something that I'm very interested in doing, and you may see it come up in my fall sewing plans. And the Palisades have been fighting with the Pietra for that top place. Something I will mention, I talked about in the first video, this is a pattern with the least expansive size range, and I emailed the pattern designer asking if they had any plans to expand these to their larger size range that they now have with a lot of other patterns. And they did get back to me and they said that they do not have any intention of making these in their curvy size range. They plan to make all future patterns in the full size range, but I just wanted everybody to be aware of that. The construction process, I will say, is quite fun and satisfying, particularly with all those pocket pieces coming together, but I would say they're a bit less beginner friendly. They don't give you quite as much information. The other thing is just generally with the fit and the style of these, they're just a more loose, relaxed pair of shorts than what I was aiming for. I would be curious to try these sizing down. I would be curious to maybe adjust that back rise a little bit and see if I was a bit happier with the fit. And I will say I am tempted to try and make them again, maybe with actually a bit of a stiffer fabric and maybe taking some of the width around from that top waistband. It's not something I would make again as is, but with some tweaks, it could be a winner. So crowning the ultimate smart summer shorts for me, I think has got to be pretty obvious by this point. It's got to be those Pietra shorts by Closet Core Patterns. That was the one that I originally wanted to make. I was curious to try some similar designs, but these shorts just have so much going for them. They are definitely the winner for me. I would love to hear your thoughts on how this series have been, if you've had predictions, if your predictions were right, if you agree with me looking at them on me, and obviously they're not going to look the same on you. You might have a different feel depending on your own body shape and body type, but also you might have quite different things that you'd be pairing with these shorts. You may end up with a different winner in your own books. But for me, it is definitely the top of the pack. I am very interested and curious to make more of these. I would just generally stay away from those more structured fabrics. I think something with a little bit of drape is definitely going to help with that waistband, but on the whole, these are super cute and I think definitely deserve that crown. If you did enjoy this series, I would love it if you would share it with a friend that might also enjoy it. Please do make sure you're subscribed to my channel if you want to see future videos, including future Clash of the Patterns series. Thank you as always for watching, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye!